It's Thursday, November 6th. People were hinting at this over the last couple of days. I was not able to find any actual confirmation of it. But this morning, Nancy Pelosi announced her retirement at the end of this congressional term. She's currently 85 years old. She's been in Congress, in the House of Representatives, for about 40 years. And she, on the plus side, she accomplished a lot in her career. She was the first woman to become Speaker of the House. Her work during the presidencies of Barack Obama and Joe Biden, unparalleled. She was probably the best Speaker of the House, the most effective Speaker of the House at managing her caucus and doing the job. Probably the most effective Speaker of the House in our lifetimes. Compare and contrast to her, the guy who came after her, Kevin McCarthy. That's what Republicans are working with. Compare her to Mike Johnson, who has spent most of this year covering up for pedophiles, Jeffrey Epstein and Donald Trump, and his relationship with Jeffrey Epstein. She posted a video on Twitter this morning to her constituents in San Francisco, of which I was one for almost 25 years. My message to the city I love is this: San Francisco, know your power. We have made history. We have made progress. We have always led the way. And now we must continue to do so by remaining full participants in our democracy and fighting for the American ideals we hold dear. I have strong opinions about anyone remaining in Congress. Our last Democratic Senator, Dianne Feinstein, died in office and was so feeble and addle-minded towards the end that she didn't know where she was and she didn't know where she was doing. And that tarnished and wrecked a huge part of her legacy. That having been said, Nancy Pelosi's accomplishments, the things that she achieved in that position, her effectiveness in that position, regardless of her gender, simply cannot be ignored. I've no doubt that Donald Trump is probably still going to try to have his DOJ put her in prison because Trump gleefully celebrated Pelosi's retirement this morning by saying, "I'm very honored. She impeached me twice." He said the following to Fox News' Peter Doocy. The retirement of Nancy Pelosi is a great thing for America. She was evil, corrupt, and only focused on bad things for our country. She was rapidly losing control of her party, and it was never coming back. I'm very honored. She impeached me twice and failed miserably twice. She impeached him twice. She successfully completed the House of Representatives' objective and purpose in the impeachment process. They passed articles of impeachment on Donald Trump twice. That's not failing. He continued by saying Nancy Pelosi is a highly overrated politician. So, whatever. Nancy Pelosi's retiring, and she impeached Donald Trump twice, the only president in the United States history to be impeached twice. Donald Trump is still a convicted felon. He was adjudicated by a federal judge to be a rapist. The Trump Organization was convicted of 17 fraud-related felonies in November of 2022. He was still indicted 91 times in 4 separate jurisdictions, and he did try to overturn the 2020 election, and he did incite an insurrection at the Capitol, where Nancy Pelosi was instrumental in shutting that down. So go fuck yourself, Donald. You will never be half the person that Nancy Pelosi is and was during her tenure as Speaker of the House and a member of Congress. You fat, corpulent, globulous mess of a human being. Have a great Thursday.